So recently a good friend and I were talking about how to edit MIDI tracks and how to make them sound better or more realistic and such. And so I thought I should go ahead and make a video on this and put it out there. I'm really not the best at creating realistic sounding MIDI, just as a quick disclaimer, but I'm going to go ahead and throw out everything I know, and hopefully it'll help a couple of you. So the first thing I want to talk about is volume automation. So let me show you what I did here. So there was this string track right here, and I went ahead and copied it and then pasted it down here so that we could listen to two examples of the same thing. So if you listen right here, this is just 3 notes descending, just raw MIDI. There's not really edited at all. These are Spitfire Audio's Albion 1 strings that I'm using, and I let you listen to it with no automation and then with volume automation. All right, that was just right out of the gates what we were getting with that MIDI. So now if we listen to it with this volume automation, it's the exact same track, but listen to the difference. It sounds a lot better, and all we really did was adjust the volume. So the way you get to your automation is, in Logic at least, you're going to click this little dude right here, and it will drop down everything, and then you can click and start dragging where you want. So you make little dots, and then you can bend it to where you want it to be. This will be a very similar process in any other DAW. Just a quick Google of how do I volume automate stuff in my DAW should pull up exactly what you need. If you do volume automation for your whole tracks with any type of expressive instruments like strings or woodwinds or brass and things like that, it's going to bring your stuff to the next level immediately. All right, let me show you something else that's really cool. I need to open up another project for it though. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is modulation. So you'll notice on your keyboard that you have this thing called a mod wheel or modulation wheel or whatever. If you don't, you can draw it in like we did with the volume automation, but here's what this does. On this little diagram, you can see where I started rolling the mod wheel up, and listen to how it changes the sound. I'm sorry. Let me solo this out so you can actually hear it. So you hear how it's got this really warm sound to it right now, but then once we add in the mod wheel, once it rolls up, listen to how it changes the sound. So I rolled it up and then kind of rolled it back down and let it sit right here for a little while. And then I roll it up all the way around here. And then I roll it all the way back down to get that warm sound again. So that's just a cool thing to start messing around with that, because especially if you have different synth packs, the mod wheel is going to have different effects on them. And even with some orchestral packs, how you adjust your mod wheel will make a big difference in the type of sounds you'll get off of your samples. But in this composition, I actually use that in a way that I think is kind of cool. So right here is a little string arpeggio that comes in. So that just kind of busts in out of nowhere in this composition. And so to make that entrance a little bit less abrupt, what I did was I used some volume automation. So I slowly faded in these strings for 1, and then 2 on our that little bass thing I have going on down here. What I did was that's exactly when I rolled the mod wheel up. So as this mod wheel is going up, so is the volume automation going up for the string track. And then once it gets to this point right here, it gets really loud, and then it cuts down to the warmer sound, and then the string arpeggios bust through. So here, I'll pull this up so that you can see. These are the strings up here. You can see how the volumes automation is slowly fading it in, and then you'll be able to see down here how the mod wheel is moving up. So give that a listen real quick. So that's a pretty abrupt transition, but when you use all this modulation stuff and all the volume automation, it actually sounds pretty smooth. So if you listen to it in the context of the whole piece, you'll hear what I'm saying. So that's something really cool that you can do with your MIDI as well. Just using your mod wheel, and then maybe kind of trying to find some way to use a mixture of mod wheel stuff and volume automation, things like that. Get creative with it, and you can do some really cool stuff. So I got one more thing to pull up. It's pretty funny. At least I think it's pretty funny. So my friend was making a little promotional video for a little gig we're doing, and he was like, "Oh, can you make a lo-fi version of Jump for me to put in it?" And I did, and I'm not good at writing lo-fi, but anyways, here this is. It's I think it's funny. Let me tell you what's going on before I just play it though. I'm using automation, but instead of volume automation, I'm actually automating a low cut filter. So you listen to how the bass just comes in. It's slowly fading in here, and then I just jump it in. Listen to that real quick. So what's going on there is at least in Logic, and this will be different in other DAWs, of course, but right here you'll see I have this selected and it's set for volume automation. But if you click, there's like a drop down menu you can get, and you can automate a lot of stuff. So you can automate like your EQ and such, which is what I'm doing here. I'm automating a low cut filter or something. Yeah. So it's really cool what you can do, and you can automate things with like gain. You can automate filters. So like if you had some sort of weird filter on your MIDI, you could slowly automate that in or out. You could do the same with reverb, and then it's just edited the same way you would edit volume, except for it's, you know, editing something else. And you can have it doing multiple things at once. So this is a really cool trick, and it really opens up a whole new world of stuff you can do. And there's a lot to explore here, and a lot of stuff that I haven't even personally gotten into. But you should explore some other things that you can do with automation, and try putting it in some of your compositions, and playing around with different ways to mix your MIDI and get different sounds from it. So those are just a couple of quick tips I had for you guys. I hope you found this video helpful in some way. If you have any questions about what I was doing, let me know down below, and I'd be happy to try to help you out any way I can. And if not, I'll see you guys next week.